It's all made up nonsense. I was having a bit of a moment the other day, and so I sought advice from my mentor, and she said it's all made up nonsense. Now, I like the word nonsense. Let's look at that word for a minute. No sense. In the word nonsense, it says, like if we take out the N, no sense. So it makes no sense. So if we break apart thought and we break apart the stories we tell ourselves, the stories we believe to be true, they actually make no sense. They have no backbone. So for example, any limiting belief, any limiting thought, any limiting story, for example, the one I spoke about in my latest video, I never get to play. From the 7-year-old that I look after, he has this sort of repeating pattern, this story of not having enough time to play. When we break that apart, it's not true, because he plays. There are times when he's playing for an hour and hours on end. So when we look at thoughts we have, I'm shy, I'm insecure, I'm depressed, anything that looks concrete, looks real and true, if we break it apart, there are times when you don't feel anxious and you don't feel shy and you don't feel depressed, which proves that it really is just thought. Now I can hear the sort of questions that are coming through. It's like, well, what do you mean it's just thought? Or, yes, I understand that this over here is thought, but this over here is real and true. It is true that I am anxious. It is true that I am scared. It is true that this thing is stopping me from doing X, Y, Z. It isn't made up nonsense. It's true. It's a fact. So there's a time in my life that I remember in 2020, so last year, between 2020 and 2022, my epilepsy sort of came back, so to speak, and I had a ton of seizures. Now, I fell into this place of paralyzing fear, where to the point where I wasn't physically paralyzed, but I felt like I was so scared to get out of bed in case I had a seizure and hurt myself, that I would stay in bed for a very, very long time until I, absolutely had to get up and get ready for work. But it was stopping me from enjoying my life. I believed that fear, that, it is true, I have epilepsy and so I could have a seizure, that was true to some extent, but the seizure in and of itself, that having epilepsy in and of itself wasn't giving me that fear. There was a thought that popped into my head that said, this is scary, this is true, and I believed it. And then one day I saw through it. I saw the illusion for what it was. It was like one of those, projectors, like it looks like it's a real thing, like a hologram. That's the word. So, a hologram can look really, really real, and then you go to touch it and it's not there. There's nothing there. It's just an illusion. So I woke up one morning and realized that I didn't have to be scared. I didn't have to buy into the story. If I was going to have a seizure, I was going to have a seizure. And what happened after that, when that story crumbled, I stopped having seizures. They just went. It's like I broke the story apart, the story that was keeping the experience alive. So this is how I see it, that these stories we tell ourselves, these stories that we innocently believe to be true, like absolute concrete fact, this is true, this thing makes me feel like that, and we see it as true. We're keeping that experience alive. We're birthing it. we're giving it the power and the energy to exist in our experiences, in our lives. So the minute we take that story away, we put it to one side, or we drop it altogether, that experience can no longer be, it can no longer exist. I let go of that story. I let go of that belief. I saw that it made no sense, that it was nonsense. It's not true that the fear of having a seizure can stop me from doing my everyday activities, can stop me from enjoying my life. That fear, that so crippling fear, that was just a thought. It came from a thought, and that thought then had thought babies. You know, it created a whole generation, starting from, you know, the top fear, and then just created a lot more. And once that fell away, it opened a space for freedom. It opened a space where I could be okay and know that I am okay, whether I have a seizure or not. And like I said, the seizures have stopped. That isn't a true thought. That it isn't something I believe anymore. It isn't anything I am holding on to anymore. So in order to create a new experience and to see something different in our lives, if we want to see something different, if we want to have more peace, if we want to have more time to play, if we want whatever it is that we want to create in our lives, it's knowing what the awareness that it's all thought. That's like sort of, you know, it's not a step thing, but to sort of break it up for what it is, it's the awareness of it is all thought. There is nothing outside of thought, nothing. Everything is thought. Like if you were to ask a fish, how's the water? The fish would say, what water? Because it is swimming, it is surrounded by water, like we are surrounded by thought. We don't see that it's thought. And when I was first told this, I didn't believe it. I didn't understand it. I didn't know what that meant. It was like, yes, but you know, this is a pen. I can see it. It's real. But without a thought, it wouldn't be here. That it wouldn't, you know, I'm recording on a phone. But the phone, before there could be even a phone, there had to have been a thought of a phone. Somebody created that. Somebody thought of it. So the fact that we are the fact that we are swimming in thought, we are thought created beings. There isn't nothing in this world, no experience you can have is outside of thought. So if you're experiencing it, there's a thought of it first, whether it's conscious or subconscious, that there is an experience. And I know it can sound a bit like, yes, but what I'm facing, you know, I don't have a job and I need to pay my bills. This is real. I didn't make that up. That's not thought. This is, you know, this is actually happening. And I can understand that yes, that is actually happening. You know, I did have that did actually happen. I did have a whole bunch of seizures that actually happened. But the bit that isn't true is the feeling, the belief that we put onto it. So, you know, if you don't have a job at the moment, for example, and you need to pay your bills, that, you know, that fact is there, that experience that you're living, but there is a story, there is an underlying belief as to why that's happening. So it's not saying beat yourself up for it. Oh, so it's my fault. I've created this. It's my fault. It's like, that's not going to serve you. That's not going to help you if you berate yourself over, once you see that you are the creator of your own reality. It's not to then beat yourself up when things go wrong. It's not to say, what did I do wrong? Because I did that a lot when I came across the law of attraction. I beat myself up a lot whenever I got something wrong, what I would deem wrong. if things didn't work out for me, if I didn't attract the money I wanted, or the relationship I wanted, or the job I wanted, if those things didn't come to fruition, I would blame myself, and I would be stuck in the circle of blame and regret and just really, really berating myself. And I've seen that that just doesn't help. That so now what I do is I get curious. It's like, oh, that didn't work. Oh, why did, why hasn't that thing grown? Why haven't I created that thing that I really want? Why hasn't that happened yet? And I ask that question sometimes, but in a light-hearted way, in a way that it's like, why hasn't that happened? And when I see, other people are great. They're great, like, indicators of kind of where you are and what your stories are, because we are all one, because we are all connected. And so because we are all one and we are all connected, we can see from somebody else's story, we're that one step removed, so we can see from somebody else's experience what they're doing. We can then sort of, in a fun way, put it on ourselves and be like, okay, well, where am I doing that? What what limiting belief do I have, or where I don't have enough time, or I'm not enough, or, like the I don't have enough time to play story. Like, when we use other people in that way and we get curious about what the stories could be, it becomes a game, like this light-hearted game. It becomes really fun, and things start to change, like sustainable change actually starts happening. And I have truly seen that in my life. I've always wanted a peaceful, calm, happy life for as long as I can remember. And finally I have that. I can genuinely, hand on heart, say that I am living a calm and peaceful, happy life. That doesn't mean I don't get caught in my thinking from time to time. I'm human after all. But I don't take it as seriously as I used to. Like, even, 6-7 months ago, when I was completely terrified of having seizures, I took it so seriously. I took it at face value that, because this thought is in my head, it's real. And so I can't get out of bed. And now, any thoughts that are limiting, any thoughts that are stopping me from doing what it is I want to do, I know I don't have to believe them. I know it's just me working perfectly as a human being. It's just how we work. That it's, we get thoughts and then we feel those thoughts. We are feeling the thoughts, not the experience. The thought always comes first. So thank you for listening. If there was anything helpful in that, or anything you didn't understand, please feel free to comment below this video. And if you wish to get in touch with me directly, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram as 93Becca and Facebook as Becca Marino. So look forward to hearing from you soon, and all the best. Bye.